Spanish teachers are known for saying when they talk about the vowels, cinco vocales, cinco sonidos. Where in English, there are at least 15 vowel forms, maybe more. Remember learning about long vowels and short vowels when we were in elementary school? Each vowel in English has at least two different ways to pronounce it, and then depending on its position in a word, there's even more. Here's the pronunciation guide for vowels in Spanish. Spanish vowel has only one sound for each vowel. So these are the names of these vowels as well as how they are always pronounced. A is like A in father, an ah sound. E is like E in cafe, an A sound. I or Y, which can also be a vowel in Spanish like in English, is like I in machine, an E sound. O, like O in obey, is O, an O sound. U is like U in rule, an U sound. So in English, we say the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. In Spanish, we say the vocales, the vowels are A, E, O, U. Now, pronunciation of Spanish consonants. They're softer than in English. For example, B and V sound the same in Spanish. They're basically pronounced the same and kind of midway between how we pronounce B and V in English. It's more like a soft V with the lips only slightly touching. For example, in these words, bien, buenos, buenos dias, bien. That's roughly how the B's are pronounced. C, like in English, there's a hard C that sounds like a K before A, O, or U, or before any consonant. The C should be very crisply pronounced, not as forcefully as in English. And then before E and I, it's a soft C, pronounced like an S. So here's these examples. Casa, cine, gracias, centavo. Casa, cine, gracias, centavo. So the C is just very crisply pronounced, not quite as forceful, or we make it a stronger C. Continuing with consonants, a reminder that they're softer than in English. The CH is considered a separate letter in Spanish. It sounds like the English chair. So examples are mucho, chico, mucho, chico. That's how CH is pronounced. D, for pronouncing D, we should barely say it. We should forget Homer Simpson, who's saying do. That's opposite of what it should be in Spanish. Think soft. It is barely pronounced, kind of like a middle D in the word didn't. We just barely say that in English. Same way for D's in Spanish. To pronounce D in English, think more like TH. It's a very soft D. Sometimes it's barely pronounced at all, too. Words like pescado, it can be pronounced like pescado, without the D at all. Pescado, pescado. Then some other examples here, dia and verdad. Dia, verdad. Okay, continuing with pronunciation guide for consonants. The G preceding an E or I is pronounced like a breathy English H, like in house, house. J is pronounced exactly the same way, as we know that from the word jalapeno, jalapeno, a strong H sound. Now before A, O, or U, G has a hard sound like English grape or gorilla. So the Spanish word for cat is gato, gato. GU beginning words are a special case. The GU followed by I, E, or O, the G is a hard G. In words like penguino, penguino, that's the word for penguin, or antiguo, antiguo, that it means old. Now the GUA words that start with GUA, the G is not pronounced at all. So in English, we say guacamole, but in Spanish, it is simply guacamole, guacamole. The G is ignored. And so to summarize, here's a couple of examples, gente and gigante, which that's It means giant. It shows you the two different pronunciations of G in Spanish, the hard or soft. H is silent. It's not pronounced. Spanish teachers, when you're in class, always say la H es muda. The H is mute. So examples are hijo, hecho, hola. The H is there in the spelling, but there's no pronunciation of it. Double L is a separate letter in Spanish. This has always sounded like a Y. So pollo, pollo. Pronounced like this in Peru, Mexico, and most, if not all of Latin America. But in Peru, this is the way it's pronounced, same way in Mexico. So calle, llama, that's how the double L is pronounced, exactly like a Y. In with a tilde is pronounced in Spanish like IO in onion, or NY in canyon. Señor, niño. R in Spanish is very soft, like the double T in butter. It's just very, very soft. So we say Maria cara, Maria cara. Double R is a separate letter in Spanish. It is trilled, a trilled R, also an R at the beginning of a word. You have to force air across the relaxed tongue so that it flutters and trills twice. So this is a very difficult sound for English speakers, and it's something that I have kind of lost over the years just simply for lack of practice. But it comes out in words like raton, perro. And it also comes up in this example coming up next in Z, like the S sound in English. Taza, it's just an S sound. And zorro, zorro, that's how the double R should sound. And of course, zorro means fox. So that's a summary of all the letters in the alphabet. Other Spanish consonants are pronounced really pretty much like English equivalents. Even some of these that we spoke of are very close to the English sounds. Now, once you understand these pronunciations, you can read aloud any text, signs, printed material in Spanish, writing on any devices, and a Spanish-speaking person will understand you. Even if you don't know the meanings of the words, they will be understandable to them, rather than if you just pronounce the Spanish word as you would in English. That can be very hard for them to decipher what you're trying to say. Now, some important phrases for you to know. Por favor. Now, I've put my approximation of how I think it should sound in some kind of a phonetic writing that I've used. So, por favor means please. Por favor. Then we have muchas gracias, many thanks. Muchas gracias. Many thanks. Thank you very much, it also means. Some simple greetings in Spanish. Hola, hola. That just means hello. Buenos días, buenos días, buenos días. Good morning. Buenas tardes, buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Buenas noches. After about 7 p.m. Buenas noches. Good evening. Buenas noches. Or more informally, a lot of times in Peru, they just say buenas. You know, they may not know exactly what time it is. Maybe it's almost afternoon, but that's an acceptable greeting. It's just the word good, but it refers to either the afternoon, the morning, the evening, but it's just commonly used informally. Good, buenas. You can walk into a store, instead of saying buenas tardes or buenos días, you can just say buenas. Then we have a greeting, ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo está usted? Okay, this is how are you? This is the formal form of doing it, using usted for you. And remember, the formal forms are used when talking to more senior people, strangers, and others with whom you are not really on a first name basis or that you've just met. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? This is the informal form because you're using the to verb form that ends in an S. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? But this is informal. You can also say ¿qué tal? We mentioned that earlier, which, or ¿cómo te va? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo te va? How are you? How's it going? This is informal. And so this is the informal to verb forms talking to more close acquaintances, good friends, children, and so on. Now for farewells. Hasta luego. Hasta luego means until later, see you later. Hasta la vista. Hasta la vista. Hasta la vista. Until we meet again, until we see each other again. It means either one of those. And hasta pronto. Hasta pronto. Until soon or see you soon. And then finally, we have hasta luego lagarto. That's see you later, alligator. Guess it doesn't quite translate. Okay, some more farewells. Adios, adios. That's goodbye. But in Peru, the most common farewell is just ciao. Ciao means bye. That comes from the Italian ciao, which I think in Italian means hello or goodbye. But in Peru, it's used, and some other countries of South America, used for bye. Now, I should mention in Peru, at least, adios is not often used in Peru. It's not used very much, although when you take Spanish, that's always the words they teach you to say goodbye. It's actually for a big goodbye. If it's going to be a long-term goodbye, it infers a person is leaving for a long period. And, literally it means you're going to God. Dios. Dios is God. So it's for a long period. If you're just going to see a person later or the next day or the next week, hasta entonces, hasta luego. And note that the English goodbye, the English word goodbye is from God be with ye. And so that was used through the 1500s, at least the end of the 1500s. And then it was turned into a contraction, but originally it meant God be with ye. Okay, now here's some peruanismos. These are kind of slang terms, but if you know these and throw them into a conversation, they're going to really think you're part Peruvian already. So chévere, chévere. That's a common word meaning great, cool, amazing. Amazing is overused in English nowadays, but chévere is not, and it's not used just in Peru. It's used in other Latin American countries. Also in Peru, chela. Chela is a kind of a cool short name for a beer. I put it down as for a brew or a brewski, a cooler term for just saying, I'll have a beer. Say, dame una chela. And cerveza, that is the generic Spanish word for beer. So that'll work in every country. So putting this into use, useful phrase, favor de traerme dos chelas bien heladas. Favor de traerme dos chelas bien heladas. So this means, please bring me 2 really cold brews or brewskis. And you're asking for them good and cold too. So that means they should give you one that's been in the refrigerator for a while, not one that they just stuck in there 20 minutes before. One more useful phrase that you may need in Peru, por favor, ¿dónde está el baño? Por favor, ¿dónde está el baño? El baño, where is the bathroom? And of course, if you're looking for signs, it's damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so some ways to learn a language. Try to talk to someone every day. It's all about repetition. Try to listen to something every day. Tune into a telenovela on one of the Spanish stations. Read something. If you can, write something every day. And remember, you don't have to be fluent. If you can come up with a few phrases and be able to put a few words together, you're just worlds ahead of other travelers that go to Peru or other Latin American countries. So with that, I'll just say, well, you're on your way. Feliz viaje, buena suerte. And also make sure you take your Google Translate along. It really works out very well, and I highly recommend that. So, buena suerte y ciao.